Hello everybody and welcome to Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. I'm Jack and I'm back with week number 7, I think it is now, of the Omnipoke League. This week, as you can see, I'm against iCaterpie, Alessandro Cremascoli, obviously very, very good player from Italy. And we've just played the games, and again I'm doing a bit of a roundup just before so you guys can see the decks that I brought this week. First deck was a pretty simple Center Scorch list. I actually decided in-game, you'll see in a few moments' time, that I want to make a couple of changes to this list. I want to add a Fire Crystal and stuff. But this is my list at the moment. It's got the 2 Dedenne, 2 Crobat, 2 Eldegoss sort of engine. I haven't played around with Center Scorch basically since it came out on TCG. I've played a couple of games with it, but then kind of left it for things like ADP and then more recently Eternatus. But yeah, I tried it again today, and I'm really enjoying it again. Unfortunately, as of recording this, I've locked in my Players' Cup deck, so I'll show that in a moment. But I can't play this, unfortunately, and maybe I would have if I'd had a little bit more time to, or I'd put in a little bit more time to test it. Basically, it's a very similar list to the list I was playing at the start of this format, but I've added a Cramorant in over. What did I cut? I can't remember what I cut. Oh, I cut a Wonder Lab. I was playing Wonder Lab still, but I cut the Wonder Lab, put in Cramorant, and like I say, I'd like to find space for a Fire Crystal, probably a Crobat goes, maybe an Eldegoss, something like that. Maybe just an Energy for a Fire Crystal. I haven't really been keeping up with recent Center Scorch lists, successful Center Scorch lists, so I don't know for sure counts that are usually played, but yeah, this has been serving me okay recently. And yeah, maybe with a little bit more time I would have played this for Players' Cup, I don't know. I also brought an Eternatus list, this time taking out the Scoop Up Nets and one of the Zigzagoons, and what was the other thing I took out? But either way, found space for 4 Turbo Patch. I don't think Turbo Patch is good, but I wanted to try it this week, basically, or I wanted to have the opportunity to try it this week, basically because it looks like Players' Cup is set to be a fairly or a fairly good meta for control, because games are only limited to the in-game timer, so you can have basically 75-minute best of 3, or potentially longer, I guess, because it takes account of both people's 25 minutes of both people, so it looks like Control is basically in an untimed format, which always makes Control way better. And as such, I wanted to see whether there was a way of being able to try and win against Control before they run you out of energy. I don't think Turbo Patch is the answer. I don't think Eternatus has a particularly nice answer, but I think if there is going to be an answer, Turbo Patch may be one of them. And yeah, obviously Alessandro is very, very good at playing Control styling archetypes, and as such, I thought I may end up playing its Control, so I'd give it a go. Like I say, I don't think this is the way to fix that matchup, but I think it may be not an irrelevant, or it may help increase some percentage points in that matchup, so I wanted to give that a go. And then finally, this is the actual list I ended up submitting for Players' Cup, and also played this week for the Omni League. Basically, my bog standard ADP list that I've been playing this whole format. Very, very little changes. This week we cut the Zigzagoon in favour of an Oranguru, and I cut one Air Balloon in favour of a Big Charm. And this is the exact 60 I've submitted for Players' Cup. I'm not playing Duraludon. I'm hoping Decigoons is fairly underrepresented. Hopefully between Mawile and ADP's GX attack and Oranguru, I can maybe win that matchup anyway. It shouldn't be overly difficult, but Duraludon makes that very, very winnable. So I have cut that. I've also cut an Air Balloon in favour of a Big Charm, basically trying to respect Eternatus and Fire decks a little bit more, because basically if you Big Charm an ADP, against Eternatus they have to find 4 pings, or have to do an initial poke or whatever against your ADP, and that's massive. If you have to if they're able to knock out your ADP the turn you altered creation, you're in a really bad spot. So this should hopefully help with that, though only one Big Charm does make it a little sketchy. I could not find space for a second. There's just not room in this deck. I could maybe start eating into the energy count, but basically whenever I took out a water, I was like, well, any hammer deck pretty much feasts on me if I prize one, or if I, miss it turn 1 or whatever, or I'm more likely to miss it turn 1 or whatever. And then, so I was like, okay, I'll discard it, I'll get rid of a metal. And then I was like, well, there's a lot of matchups that because of the hammers in every matchup, you actually need to be Intrepid Swording and hitting energy these days. You don't just need to draw those 3 cards. A lot of the time, you actually need to hit an energy. So the energy count is actually, even though it seems quite high, I think it's bare minimum at what I'm comfortable playing. And then from there, like I say, it just felt like there were no other cuts. So I cut an air balloon, bit of a risky cut, but I think Big Charm is a potential very worthwhile tech. So yeah, those are the 3 lists I brought against Alessandro this week. And yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the games. And I will see you next week for the next round of Omni League. Okay, we are here against Alessandro. That's an amazing coin. I've never seen that coin before. No, we don't want to go first. I'm playing Senti first. Alessandro likes his control decks and likes his lock decks, and Senti is one of the better decks against those kinds of archetypes. Can get around Obstagoon and Decidueye fairly well. Can get around... it can self-accelerate against control, so hopefully we can have a fairly good time picking this kind of archetype. Had a pretty bad start though. He's going second. He's going first. He's also playing a welder style deck. Okay. Play full switch in an air balloon, so I'm reluctant to even attach this. Going for the wisdom first. We don't play a fire crystal. Maybe I should try a single fire crystal in this list. It could be a good call. Any Pokemon top deck would be good. I mean, we could get a Volcanion and then just basically have to dig for Switch or something like that. Pokemon top deck. Perfect. So I think we're going to grab a Volk. We've actually prized... Okay, let's look at some prizes. We've prized 2 Volk. We've prized 1 Senti and 1 VMAX. I'm running a double Eldegoss, double Dedenne, double Crobat build. Welder. And then I would imagine probably an energy, yeah. Okay. So this way we get to at least attach an energy. So basically we're digging for switch now. Or welder plus some combination of energy to be able to welder to the active and retreat into the Volcanion. I'm going to Dedenne here basically because like we could Crobat for 4, but I think Dedenneing is probably safer. There's the air balloon, which is perfect. It'd be great to attach to a Senti this turn, I guess. So I guess we do Poker Gear to try and hit a welder. So now we can welder 2 to the active. Do you want to welder 2 to the active or just the 1? We have Hearth in hand, so we can always access more Fire Energy next turn, so we don't need to keep these. Basically, that's what I wanted. I wanted to find a Quick Ball. Quick Ball nets us. So we can Quick Ball... We can com in the Heatran to get a Senti, or we can Quick Ball to get a Senti. I'd rather keep the com out active, I think. I'm going to keep the Air Balloon. I think I'm actually going to discard the Big Charm here. I think it's very rarely relevant. I think we're almost always getting 2-shot by as a Senti VMAX by a Senti VMAX. I think it's very rare that that's not going to happen. So, do I commit the Air Balloon or do I just ditch an energy? That'd be our 3rd energy gone. I actually think I kind of want to keep the energy so that we can have more flexibility with Heatran next turn potentially. Plus getting this down as a pivot might not be a bad idea. Regardless, it'll close off our options of being able to retreat with Volcanion though. Losing energy for the sake of being able to retreat and punish something next turn. I think we actually give up the energy. We still have another 10 in deck, or we're not going to have another 10 in the deck after this, but yeah. So I guess we keep the Air Balloon. I don't want to play the Hearth because I don't want him to get value out of Hearth. So let's just plop 3 energy onto the Senti. Senti's a deck I really haven't explored too much since we were playing on tabletop. Unfortunately, I've committed my Players' Cup deck now. Oh, he's playing Hammers. Gross. I've committed my Players' Cup 2 deck now. Maybe I would have played Senti had I tested it a bit more. I think Players' Cup 2 is a very good format for control, and Senti has one of the better control matchups. I also have... I'm playing ADP though, so that's also got a fairly decent control matchup, so I think it's the end of the world. He wanted the card back. Does that mean he's dead drawing? He may be dead drawing. If he's dead drawing, I think we just attach the Air Balloon, common the Heatran, and maybe just take the KO. There's the Quick Ball though, so no dead draw. We're going to see a Dedenne or a Crobat here. There is the Dedenne. Still no Welder. There's a Hammerheads. Where does he want this energy gone from? Ultimately, it doesn't matter because we have the Heatran, but this will show us what he's scared of, and he's scared of the Center Scorch. It's good to know. There's a Quick Ball, I would imagine, for his own Center Scorch. Oh no, Crobat, okay, so he's still digging. So he feels like the threat is Center Scorch, so because of that I think I want to lean into Center Scorch to try and put on pressure. If we can get VMAX, we actually knock out the Volcanion already, so if we could Welder to another V on the bench, that would be really good. We have Cramorant available. Oh, is this Torkoal? Is this just straight Torkoal? That makes sense, the Hammers. Okay, so we're actually playing against like Torkoal Hammers here. He's going to attempt to run us out of energy, basically. So if we set up a big Center Scorch, or two, especially if we set up 2 big Center Scorches, but if we set up a big Center Scorch, that could be relatively difficult for him to deal with. Okay. I'm going to commit the Air Balloon here. I'm going to get a VMAX. Good thing about this guy is it self-accelerates, so we can get around the Combustion Pillar fairly well. Not Combustion Pillar. What's the attack called? Steam Crush. Not gonna Hearth first. Arguably, we want the cards from Hearth. We don't want fire cards, fire energy. We want other stuff from Hearth, but regardless, I still think it's wrong to Hearth first. We were kind of punished there, though. We can't put another Crobat. We can't put a Crobat and another Senti down. We can just put a Crobat down, though. Realistically, he can't get enough energy on board to be able to Gust KO, to be able to get a Heatran knockout. Or we can just attach and play relatively passively. Oh, we could have even benched this and attached, but I don't think we're getting knocked down next turn. I want to save the spot for Heatran potentially. So I think I am gonna... take 2 energy out of the deck, though. I need to switch for Heatran, I need the Con for Heatran, I need a Pokemon for Heatran. We have another VMAX prize, so discarding this VMAX would be pretty scary. So I think we get rid of a Center Scorch V here. I'm getting old. I think this is fine. So next time we have access to the Heatran play. If we find a welder, we can potentially... I should cross this off. We can potentially just knock this out with the Center Scorch, but we need to hit exactly welder plus energy. We need to hit like an... Oh, we have access to energy. Okay, so maybe we can still welder and knock this out, but I think it's more likely that we're going to have to Heatran this. Combustion Pillar for the KO. Okay. So now we can welder to something else, but we don't really want to welder to anything else, so I think we just commit the energy to a Cram. Or we can commit the energy to a Center Scorch. Oh no, we need to attach to the active. Because of that we can welder. We can Eldegoss welder, but we don't have any good welder targets. I'd rather save the Eldegoss when we can put the Center Scorch down. I don't really want to just welder to a Cramorant. So I think we just keep thinning the deck. We lose a lot of energy here. But we can welder and attach to a Cramorant and take 2 prizes on the Dedenne, and then basically we just need to take 1 prize on something else, and I think we should be in a fairly good spot to do that. Maybe as such we should have welded last turn though. Fully committing to a Center Scorch is kind of scary. There's the Wisdom. There's another Torkoal. If he welders to this Torkoal and is stacked in energy, we can... and it hits the energy, we can get knocked out. I'm pretty sure he... Okay, he scoops. Okay, so a win for Senti. I think I'll just go ADP as game 2. Wants me to go first, okay. So probably Torkoal again. Pretty awkward hand. I can commit the metal. I think I also play them all while just to have a metal saucer out. We don't play any kind of com or anything. So I think I play this to try and disrupt as well as have something to commit to and then pass it over. Arguably, like, we could have waited, especially as he started Crobat. That could indicate that he has nothing, but trying to catch something out there can be fairly strong, I think, as well as, you know, we don't play any out for com or anything. So his top deck was what's it called? His top deck was the Guru. Oh no, he welded. Okay, it wasn't Guru. There's the Wisdom. I think he welded. Maybe he attached this. I don't know. I would assume he welded because there's a welder in the bin. There's a Volcanion, so he still has the turn 1 flare starter. Okay. We have the turn 1 altered creation. And we also have a big charm. The big charm doesn't help if he hits 3 energy. If he only hits 2 energy, we're still in a fairly good spot. Do I want to Marnie? We know he has boss in hand, so he's going to be high heat blasting this next turn. So I think I'd rather play the big charm and Marnie, because I don't want this to just be high heat blasted, I don't think. He can't create a... So the only thing this can get him into is hammers. Or we could just Marnie next turn. Do I want to Marnie this turn or next turn? Actually, I guess hammers are scarier than him gusting KOing this, so I'd rather just altered creation and hope that he can't do anything, can't develop anything with the hand. Hopefully he takes the 2 prizes on the Mawile and can't develop his hand into hammers. And if he can't, we can then Marnie his big hand down, find an energy, and hopefully go from there. It means we can't boss KO Crobat, like boss KO, but hopefully it can mean we can develop a stronger board. And yeah, hopefully this is the only thing he can do. He can just take the KO. Committed the boss first. Had the Dedenne, okay. So if we hit Great Catcher, we can still make a boss KO play, but... Finding another ADP isn't a terrible out as well, because ADP actually tanks these hits, so that being our thing that we power up may actually be better than Zacian in a lot of scenarios, especially if he doesn't get a Center Scorch down this turn, because ADP will just knock everything out. So yeah, I actually think I would prefer to see an ADP over a Zacian, I guess. There's a Heatran. If he has a switch, he may commit to the Heatran this turn, because ADP actually doesn't knock out a Heatran. That would be interesting. I wouldn't be able to counter that very well, considering we don't play any damage mods. Okay, so he does take the 2 prizes. We do hit the Great Catcher, so we can Great Catcher Dedenne. And I think we do exactly that. Basically because this means now we can also hit... what's it called? Zacian, and we have 2 threats, potentially. There's a Crobat, okay. Half away the energy. For Zacian. I'm not going to do a massive deck search here. Basically, I just want to know Pokemon counts. There's a Guru, okay. We actually have no way of... we have nothing to attach to right now. Okay, there's a Quick Ball. Quick Ball bins off the research. Or has it been off the switch? I think it bins off the switch. If we get a Zacian, we can knock out the Heatran if he uses the Heatran to knock us out. If we get an ADP, we can Gust KO. But if he Gust KOs and knocks this out, we can still Gust KO with our current hand. So I'd rather commit to the Zacian because this opens up a second line of play. I also want to play the Metal Saucer because I want to attach an extra energy to the Crobat so that we have a free retreater. Oh, but is my computer lagging? Hopefully Alessandro doesn't think I'm slow playing him. He said he was getting old in the last game, which is... Okay. There's a Dene. That's a good prize. E-switch isn't terrible. So if he commits to the Heatran here, we knock it out with Zacian. If he commits to the Heatran and knocks out the Zacian and doesn't disrupt our hand, we can boss up the Crobat. Basically, he has to knock out the Zacian and disrupt our hand. So Mewtwo will net him boss. There's a Crushing. Heads on the active. We have an E-switch, so E-switch is still an out. Plus we also have an energy in hand. There's the boss. So there's going to be a Primate Wisdom into boss. Probably has switch in hand. Or maybe just retreats. Can hard retreat. Yeah, can just hard retreat. Oh, he doesn't even need to... Of course, the Volcanion just takes the knockout. Yeah. That makes far more sense than risking 3 prizes. We do have the boss in hand, though, to be able to take the last 3 with Ultimate Ray. Okay, first win of the league for me, so chuffed at that. Interesting, I enjoyed Centiskorch a lot more than I expected to. Like I say, I haven't played it in a long time, but yeah, maybe I should have played it a little bit more for Players' Cup. But I've locked in ADP now, though that ADP list, I guess, won me a game as well. So yeah, looking forward to Players' Cup. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Omnipoke, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next week of the Omni League.